watching Sunday Morning Matters on KC24, your local election headquarters.
There's been a lot of discussion about parks in the city of Fresno this week. We have some nice parks, but there are many people who feel we could use some more, maybe even improve on what we have. Sandra Celadon is the executive director of Building Healthy Communities. Thank you for being here. Tell me first what your organization is about.
Yeah, so Fresno Building Healthy Communities, we're actually a coalition of nonprofit and community-based organizations. We're about 30 organizations strong, and we work directly in throughout the city of Fresno with special focus in South Fresno with a mission to create one healthy Fresno where all children and families can live healthy, safe, and productive lives. And
having parks and more parks available would certainly contribute to that.
Absolutely. Having access to parks and green space not only is an indicator of health and allows people to engage in healthy activities like walking and biking and all kinds of fun stuff that happens in parks, but it's also an economic booster. It helps increase property values, it helps reduce crime, and it improves education overall. So parks are just a good investment in our community to be able to build what we want to see, which is one healthy Fresno.
And it looks like Fresno consumers are going to be asked to help foot the bill to maybe expand parks in our community and even maybe do some needed repairs at some of the existing parks. And there were two plans that we thought perhaps we were going to have to decide on. The mayor had a proposal that would split an increase in sales tax funding with parks and local law enforcement, and it was kind of interesting what happened with that. What's your take? He pulled his proposal from the city council agenda.
Well, I think one of the takes that, based on our experience, is that because we're talking about really long-term investments in our community, 15, 30 years or longer, you know, it really does require a lot of conversations. And so a lot of the work that we've been doing at Fresno Building Healthy Communities really started in 2013 when we were talking around the general plan at that time and talking to community members and young people. And what we'd heard back then is, why aren't you guys talking about parks? And so at that time, it really triggered, right, our coalition to really start thinking about parks and have some follow-up conversations. And that led to about 2 years worth of research and conversations before we launched what is now known as the Parks for All educational campaign to really just bring more attention to our parks system in the city. So I think today what we saw was really just a culmination of a lot of conversations that have been happening. I think there's a lot of folks that are invested in creating a better Fresno for everyone, which includes having more and better parks and having safe parks. And so I think, you know, we're definitely supportive of parks and we want to see more and better parks in our community, and we're happy that we're having this discussion now at this moment in time.
Okay, and there's going to be more discussion because there's another effort that's underway, the Fresno for Parks initiative. They're collecting signatures now to put something on the ballot that voters will be deciding on, and this is to increase our sales tax, but all of the money, as I'm understanding it, would go toward parks. It wouldn't be divvied up among other departments that certainly have needs in our city.
Right, and I think all of these conversations that we've been part of since 2013 and up to now, right, and really bringing more and more people to the table, and I think the Fresno for Parks group is really that coalition, is a coalition that includes folks like Fresno Building Healthy Communities and others throughout our city that really want to see more investment in not just parks, but arts and trails, and thinking about the amenities and the opportunities that we provide in our city for folks to just be able to live a quality life. And so the Fresno for Parks measure is a sales tax measure that's being proposed. They're gathering signatures to be able to qualify it to get on the November ballot.
And this is millions of dollars that it could potentially bring in if it passes, if voters decide that they want to make that investment.
Yes, and so it would generate about $37.5 million per year that is specially dedicated, so it's a special tax that can only be used for parks, arts, and trails.
Is that enough to build some new parks?
Absolutely, and so the majority of the money that is proposed in the Fresno for Parks initiative is really around maintaining and updating our current parks. So that's number one. And we know that 8 out of 10 parks in the city of Fresno are in very bad shape, according to the Parks Master Plan. So the vast majority of the funding is set aside to improve our current park system, bring it up to health standards, make sure it's safe for all folks to use from all age groups. And then there is some money to build not just more parks, but also trails. There's money included to build about 80 miles worth of trails that would connect up to the San Joaquin River.
Fantastic.
And there's maintenance dollars, which is really important for us to be able to maintain.
Sandra Celadon with Building Healthy Communities, thank you for joining us. We'll see what happens, see what voters decide. And we'll have more after this.